On the very day I secured a $100 million investment, I walked into the office only to find the CEO's conniving assistant looking smug, spreading rumors that the boss was demoting me and shipping me off to the desolate Anchorage branch in Alaska. I walked into the CEO's office, contract in hand. While I massaged my wife's shoulders, I joked, "You'll never guess what I heard. There's a rumor floating around that you're transferring me to the Alaska branch. They still don't know we've been secretly married for 7 years and are about to go public." My wife, Harper Lane, didn't look surprised. She brushed my hand away and gave a gentle, patronizing smile. "It's not a rumor. Chase messed up a project, and the board is pressuring him to take the transfer to Alaska. But how could he survive in a frozen wasteland like that? He doesn't have the resilience or the margin for error that you do. If he goes there, his career is dead. He's my college junior, Ethan. I can't watch him ruin his life." She continued, "When you get back, I promise we'll announce our marriage. I'll even give you a child so we can start that family you've always wanted." I let out a mocking laugh, turned on my heel, and walked out. I immediately dialed her biggest rival. "Do you still need a vice president? I'm coming with a $100 million investment. I have only one condition. Don't exile me to Alaska." The voice on the other end paused for a second before letting out a low sigh. "Are you kidding me? I put you on a pedestal. Why would I ever let you get battered by the wind and snow?" Accustomed to her smooth talking, I asked seriously, "When can I start?" "Anytime. Who in their right mind would send you to Alaska?" "Did Harper actually agree to that? Didn't she just say she was going to announce your marriage because you cleaned up Chase Miller's mess?" I dodged the question, my voice low. "Just be ready to receive the investment." Hanging up, I opened the company portal and submitted my resignation. Back at my desk, I grabbed a cardboard box and started packing. The door was open, and colleagues were craning their necks to watch. Some, emboldened by the situation, walked right up to me to gossip. "Ethan, I heard the conditions in Alaska are brutal." The last guy who came back looked like a walking skeleton, his skin chapped raw. "You've been with Harper for 7 years. Can't you beg for mercy?" It's what happens when someone offends Chase. People need to open their eyes. Chase is Harper's favorite. Let this be a warning not to end up like someone here. Harper made no effort to hide her favoritism toward Chase Miller, which was why so many people felt comfortable bullying me on his behalf. I was about to explain that I was packing because I quit, but Chase strutted out of the CEO's office, looking triumphant. He puffed out his chest, intentionally showing off a brand new vice president badge. "Ethan, bro, you don't need to pack up. I don't mind. When you get back, I'll definitely return this office to its rightful owner." The crowd's gaze shifted to him, instantly becoming fawning and eager. No wonder Harper demoted Ethan to Alaska. It was to save the VP spot for Chase. I ship it. This is true love. The Charper couple is real. Previously, Harper had claimed office romances were unprofessional. For 7 years of our hidden marriage, she never allowed anyone to gossip about her. Once, simply because I brought her hot tea and painkillers for cramps, someone teased us. She flew into a rage, cut everyone's monthly bonus in half, and I ended up socially isolated. Now, she was letting rumors about her and Chase fly, claiming that shipping couples improved morale among the younger staff. I had to be out of my mind to have let myself become such a clown. Chase coughed lightly. "Don't talk nonsense. Harper only gave me the VP title to calm my nerves. Unlike Ethan here, he grinded for 6 years to make VP. That's the real deal." The next second, he deliberately unpinned the badge and held it out to me. "Ethan, I've always felt like an imposter. You're the one who deserves to be VP." I knew he was posturing, just looking for a chance to humiliate me. I wouldn't give him the satisfaction. I reached out. "In that case, I accept." He froze, gripping the corner of the badge tightly. I tugged twice, but he wouldn't let go. Locked in a stalemate, his ears twitched at the sound of approaching high heels. He instantly let go. Without hesitation, he grabbed a cup of water from the desk and splashed it over his own head, then threw himself onto the floor, looking up at me with tear-filled eyes. "Ethan, I'm sorry. I was giving the position back to you. Why did you splash me?" It was a pathetic acting job, yet Harper fell for it every single time. She didn't even ask what happened. She shoved me aside forcefully and helped Chase up with gentle hands. "Ethan, are you trying to start a mutiny? Chase is top-tier talent. What is your problem with him being VP? You actually dare to bully him in front of everyone? Do you want people to think our company is some unprofessional sweatshop? Apologize to him right now." My lower back slammed into the corner of the desk, the sharp pain draining the color from my face. Top-tier talent, right? A year ago, Harper went back to her alma mater for a speech. Chase, shameless as ever, added her on social media, claiming he had audited a few classes while working as a delivery driver and considered himself her junior. Harper thought he was ambitious, claiming his background was just bad luck and we shouldn't discriminate based on degrees. She seemed to forget that I was a kid from the projects who changed my fate through education before meeting her in college. Before I could defend myself, the crowd started chiming in, testifying that I was targeting Chase. Chase sniffled, playing the martyr. Harper, I know Ethan is just lashing out because he doesn't want to go to Alaska. As long as he's willing to go and expand the business, I can take whatever abuse. Harper sighed deeply. You're just too soft-hearted. Ethan is just jealous of your youth and promise. She turned to me, looking down her nose. Ethan, if you apologize properly to Chase, I might let you come back in a year. Otherwise, you can rot in the snow in Alaska for the rest of your life. She forgot how she used to look at me with admiration when I taught her management. She forgot that I gave up my own promotion, handing the CEO position to her, while she tearfully promised to treat me well. She always said we needed to encourage new blood, taking my achievements and giving them to Chase, claiming it was to build his loyalty. I used to lie to myself, thinking she was just career-driven. Now I saw her bias clearly. I gave a cold, indifferent smile and ripped off my own ID badge. You're right, Harper. I'm a bully with no class. I don't deserve to stay here. Whoever loves eating snow in Alaska can go ahead. I picked up my box and walked toward the exit. Behind me, Harper snapped out of it and shouted, Stop. I need to check what confidential materials you're taking. I was about to explain, but she smirked, grabbed the entire stack of documents from my box, and shoved them into the shredder. Don't act tough in front of me. Everything here belongs to the company. You have no right to take it. If you're leaving, leave clean. She was trying to force me into submission. But she forgot I was never truly her subordinate. Since she played it this way, I wasn't going to tell her that what she just shredded was the investment contract that could save the company from ruin. Chase had messed up the units in a previous contract, costing the company millions. Even though I managed to negotiate the penalty down by half, our cash flow was in crisis. I had worn myself out securing this new investment to bring the company back from the dead. Harper didn't realize she had just destroyed the company's last lifeline and her own future. After leaving the building, I called the investor, humble and apologetic. I'm so sorry, Mr. Sterling. There was an error with the corporate seal, so the contract is void. When would you have time for us to re-sign? Mr. Sterling was an industry titan, usually elusive. If I hadn't saved his life when he had a heart attack once, we likely never would have crossed paths. The old man sounded confused. Ethan, my boy, aren't you going to Alaska? I saw your company's announcement. It says all your clients are being transferred to a young man named Chase. I froze, realizing instantly that Harper had made her move. I steadied my voice and laughed. Must be a glitch in the internal announcements. I'm staying right here to serve you. If I were going on a tour of Alaska, I'd definitely let you know in advance. Mr. Sterling chuckled. All right, I have time tomorrow. Hanging up, I suppressed my rage and checked my phone, finding a flood of notifications. Clients were asking why I was going to Alaska and when I'd be back. Seeing the screenshots they sent, I realized Harper had posted on Instagram, announcing my transfer and directing everyone to the new VP, Chase. I couldn't see the post because she had blocked me. Without a word, I posted a clarification on my own feed. The image was a screenshot of Harper's post with a giant fake stamped over it. The caption read, I'm not going anywhere. Please don't misunderstand. Feel free to reach out for business inquiries anytime. I was replying to clients one by one, my fingers trembling from exhaustion, when Harper called. Her tone was frantic. Ethan, delete that post immediately. Do you know how many people are calling Chase a fraud and deleting him? He's crying his eyes out. You're leaving anyway. What's the point of holding on a business here? It wasn't easy for him to get where he is from a poor background. If you had any humanity, you wouldn't treat him like this. Delete it now, or I really will fire you. Hearing her pity for Chase, I found it laughable. Chase has a heart. Do you think I've had it easy? Who doesn't struggle in this world? I entertain clients day and night. I cook and clean for you. I handle the household, and I deal with family drama. And now you want me to hand everything to Chase on a silver platter? You're delusional. Harper choked on her words, unable to refute me, so she switched to her cold, corporate voice. If you don't even have the ability to comply with company restructuring, then we don't need an employee with zero team spirit like you. Pulling rank on me again. This time I just said, oh, be my guest. Fire me right now. I hung up, found the nearest print shop to print out divorce papers, and went home. But before I even opened the door, the choking scent of chili peppers hit me. I didn't hesitate and pushed the door open. At a glance, I saw Chase in the kitchen, untying Harper's apron and tickling her waist. Harper was waving a spatula, laughing uncontrollably. Hearing the noise, they both looked over. Harper instantly pushed Chase away and walked up to me. For the first time ever, she took my briefcase and helped me off with my suit jacket, acting the part of the virtuous wife. "Why are you back so late?" I sidestepped her, my tone dripping with mild sarcasm. "Looks like I came at a bad time." Chase laughed. "No, Ethan, you came at the perfect time. I was just helping Harper out in the kitchen. Don't misunderstand. In the entire company, only Chase knew Harper and I were married. Harper was never stingy about sharing her secrets with him, but this was the first time I learned Harper could cook. For 7 years, I was the one in the kitchen. She knew the smell of oil and smoke made me nauseous ever since I got a perforated ulcer from excessive drinking at business dinners. Yet, she would pout and say she only loved the food I cooked, making me willingly prepare 3 meals a day. I never knew she could cook, let alone this well. Chase, fully aware of my severe stomach condition, asked deliberately, "Ethan, I brought these peppers from my hometown. They're incredibly spicy and satisfying. Why aren't you sitting down to eat? Do you look down on my food?" I didn't sit. I just looked at Harper. I don't visit a temple without a cause. Just say what you want. Harper smiled gently, placing a train ticket in my hand. "The Instagram thing. That was my fault for not getting your consent. I shouldn't have made you give your clients to Chase. He said he wants to rely on his own hard work anyway. Tonight is your farewell dinner. I bought you a ticket for tomorrow night. When you come back, we'll announce our marriage in style." Before I could speak, Chase raised his glass to toast me. "Ethan, thanks for lending me your room. I'll take good care of the things in the house." Harper quickly tried to smooth it over, looking nervous. "Chase's lease on his apartment is up. Your room is going to be empty anyway, so it doesn't hurt to let him stay." Because I often had to work late typing on my keyboard, Harper complained about the noise and kicked me out to the guest room. Over time, the guest room became my room. I had been to Chase's apartment. It was a decent 2-bedroom place. Back when Harper and I lived in a basement with no windows, a room so small we couldn't straighten our legs. We stuck it out. Truly, love makes you feel constantly indebted. To let him move in, she didn't want me to stay a second longer. The train ticket was for a 43-hour ride in a hard seat. She really didn't care if I lived or died. I tore the ticket into shreds and glared at her. "Harper, do you not understand English? I quit. I'm not going to Alaska." Chase pretended not to hear and turned into the bedroom, wheeling out a half-height suitcase. "Ethan, I packed your luggage for you. If you need anything over there, just tell me, and I'll send it." Harper's expression softened. She stood up and shook my arm, pouting. "Honey, how could I really let you suffer? Just stay in Alaska for 2 days, and I'll find an excuse to call you back." She was always like this, slap you once, then rub it 3 times. In the past, I chose to compromise for love. Now I just felt exhausted. I took the suitcase and unzipped it. A shredded down jacket was revealed, feathers drifting onto the floor. Just as I expected, I laughed coldly. "Chase, this is how you pack for me." Harper looked surprised, but still defended him. "He didn't mean to. The kid has a good heart trying to help. That's enough. Just teach him slowly. Why are you yelling?" I found it hilarious. Chase was 29, only a year younger than me. This was a kid? Chase looked like he was about to cry, bowing to me immediately. "I'm sorry, Ethan. I did too much farm work growing up. My hands are rough. I ruined your clothes. How much was it? I'll pay you back, okay?" Despite his words, he deliberately kicked over the trash can. Bang! A loud crash. I frowned deeply, about to explode, but my gaze froze on the contents spilling out of the bin. Inside were the matching slippers I bought for Harper, my water cup, and a thick photo album. And an old digital camera, all of it maliciously destroyed, cut in half or smashed to pieces. Chase's eyes held a gleam of triumph, but he acted meek. "Ethan, I broke those by accident. Harper said they were things to be thrown away anyway. Chase is just helping you declutter. You should thank him." I looked at Harper. She nodded in agreement. "It's just some cheap junk. I told you to throw it away ages ago. Chase is helping you move on." My heart filled with bitterness, my lips curling into a sarcastic arc. Harper had forgotten. These things accompanied us through our hardest times. After graduation, I turned down offers from major tech firms abroad because she begged me to start a business with her. In the big city, people like us without background were like duckweed, having only each other. For our first anniversary after starting the company, to boost her morale, I donated plasma 10 times to buy that cheap digital camera. I told her, "Let's record everything happening now as a memory for when we're successful." That camera held memories of us being too poor for AC, riding the subway back and forth for $1 just to enjoy the cool air, a romantic date lasting all day. It held the memory of New Year's Eve curled up in front of TV, sharing a cup of instant noodles, her secretly putting her half of the sausage into my bowl. She used to cry looking at those photos, promising over and over to make it up to me. But what I got was the day the company went public. I brought out the camera to take a picture of her cutting the ribbon, and she slapped it out of my hand, saying a vice president holding such a piece of junk was embarrassing. She allowed Chase to smash the camera. Even the developed photos were treated as trash. She was right about one thing. My relationship with her had gone bad long ago. It was time to declutter. Seeing the excessive sorrow in my eyes, Harper suddenly remembered something and didn't dare look at me. Don't hold it against Chase. I'll buy you better ones later. I shook my head and pulled the divorce papers from my briefcase. Harper, sign it. She looked impatient. I don't do business during dinner. I said calmly, it's just a signature. Won't take you a minute. Perhaps out of guilt, Harper frowned and took the contract. The next second, the words divorce agreement hit her eyes. Harper froze, her fingers trembling. Chase leaned in, saw the title, and the corners of his mouth shot up wildly. Harper snapped back to reality, looking at me coldly. Just because Chase threw away some of your junk, you're threatening divorce? Nobody's perfect, Ethan. You're being incredibly petty. I said flatly, I'm not threatening. You can give Chase a title now. He can come and go from the company openly. Harper laughed in anger, her eyes frosty. She gripped the paper tightly, crumpling it. I knew your mind was in the gutter. Chase is just my college junior. What's wrong with me helping him? If we had someone help us back then, would we have struggled so much? I'm telling you, don't try to scare me with divorce. I don't buy it. I was planning to announce our marriage when you got back, but now forget it. You've disappointed me too much. Chase frantically added fuel to the fire from the sidelines. Harper, Ethan obviously just doesn't want to go to Alaska and is making a scene. If that's the case, I'll go. That way everyone's happy. Harper's gaze grew colder. She grabbed Chase and headed for the door, staring me down. Ethan, if you insist on squeezing Chase out, I have no choice but to buy him a luxury condo and move in to take care of him myself. As she said this, her hand just rested on the doorknob. She was waiting for me to get jealous and beg her to stay like I used to, crying that I was wrong, agreeing to all her unreasonable demands. I walked over. She thought I was coming to reconcile, a hint of joy appearing on her face. Instead, I opened the door wide and made a gesture. If you're leaving, please. Having already said the words, Harper's grip on Chase's hand tightened suddenly, making him yelp in pain. But she just glared at me, said fine 3 times, and stormed off. As soon as I closed the door, my phone pinged. She had approved my resignation request. Looks like she was really mad. The next day, I arrived early at the cafe where I agreed to meet Mr. Sterling, preparing to discuss investing in Harper's rival company. But as I looked down at the menu, there was a knock on the glass beside me. I looked up. It was Harper and Chase. The next second, they walked in. Harper looked arrogant. Ethan, are you stalking me? Tell me, where did you hear I was coming here to discuss a partnership? Chase was wearing an exquisite suit, looking like nouveau riche who just hit the lottery. Harper opened a bottle of wine worth 20 grand for me. I heard she never took you to such high-end places. Ethan, you're not mad, are you? Since my ulcer, she indeed never took me anywhere. I just frowned and checked my watch. Coincidence. I'm here for business. Could you two please move? Speak of the devil, Mr. Sterling strode in. Seeing the two of them surrounding me, he asked in surprise, This is? Harper looked shocked but stepped forward to shake his hand. Mr. Sterling, what are you doing here? If I knew you loved this coffee shop, I would have bought it for you every day. Chase looked at me with pure jealousy, offering a fake smile. Ethan, so you try to redeem yourself by finding investors? Harper only approved your resignation out of anger. If you perform well, I'll convince her to forgive you. He spared no effort in showing off his special status with Harper. Harper nodded in satisfaction. Mr. Sterling watched them talking to themselves and couldn't help asking, Ethan, who exactly are we negotiating with? Harper shoved me aside. Mr. Sterling, Ethan doesn't have the rank. He's just my subordinate, and he's leaving for Alaska tonight. He doesn't have time to handle follow-ups. I am Harper Lane, CEO, and this is Chase Miller, Vice President. We will talk with you. Even now, she didn't forget to gild Chase's resume. Just as I was about to explain, a sultry female voice came from behind me. Mama, Harper, have you really become so shameless that you're trying to poach my vice president and my deal? Hearing the familiar voice of her nemesis, impatience flashed in Harper's eyes. She turned around. At the entrance, a tall, slender woman with striking beauty and an elegant aura walked in. Compared to a corporate CEO, she looked more like a supermodel or an actress. Chase looked love-struck, practically drooling. Catching Harper's dark expression, He quickly said, "Who's your VP? Don't claim relations randomly." Harper said expressionlessly, "Felicity, Mr. Sterling has an appointment with Ethan. What does that have to do with you?" "Felicity, Faye." Vance walked up to me, her slender fingers tracing the tie on my suit jacket. She asked with a playful pout, "Ethan, what's going on? I'm not late, am I? Are you giving the deal to your former employer?" Naughty boy. Every time she met me, she liked to pull stunts like this. In the beginning, I would blush furiously, provoking Harper into losing her usual cool demeanor to scream at me, forcing me to swear not to contact Faye. Later, I got used to it, knowing she liked to use a playful facade to hide her ambition. I knew the bad blood between them. They were called the Golden Girls of the finance world. Once, when they were competing for a deal, Faye won. While gloating, Faye called Harper a hillbilly with no class, saying the deal wasn't even worth the loose change falling through her father's fingers. Faye was different from us. She was born into wealth. As an only child, she enjoyed immense privilege. After mocking Harper, Harper actively avoided working with her. Faye got interested and started really fighting Harper for every project, and even people. She had tried to poach me countless times, saying she would treat me 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times better than Harper. But for Harper, I always refused. Now I realized how stupid I had been. I gently pushed Faye away and explained, "I didn't. She's the one trying to claim a connection with me." Faye nodded with satisfaction, looked at Chase, standing next to Harper, and put on a mocking expression. Mocking Harper used to feel mean, but at least she had decent taste back then. She had Ethan, a great subordinate. I never expected her to lose even that ability to judge character. Her taste is truly low class, liking a guy like that. Chase, who had been looking at Faye with infatuation, instantly changed his face upon hearing the insult. He tugged at Harper's sleeve aggrievedly. "Harper, who is she? Why is she insulting me? It looks like she knows Ethan pretty well." Harper finally tore her gaze away from Faye's hand on my chest and said coldly, "Faye, don't say the grapes are sour just because you can't reach them. Chase is young and educated. Are you saying he's inferior to Ethan?" She glared at me subtly, her eyes saying, "Just wait until you get home. Ignored for too long, mister." Sterling looked annoyed and coughed. "Ethan, who am I talking to?" I quickly squeezed past the blocking duo of Chase and Harper, supporting Mr. Sterling with a smile. "Mr. Sterling, this is Felicity Vance, CEO of Vance Corp. She's my boss." Faye beamed. "Uncle Sterling, I only got the chance to see you thanks to Ethan." Mr. Sterling was easygoing. Even with Faye's prominent background, he didn't treat her any differently. Seeing that I could bring Mr. Sterling to the table, Faye immediately gave me a thumbs up. I smiled. "Mr. Sterling, there are too many idlers here. It was poor planning on my part. Let me take you somewhere quiet so we can talk details." With me, Mr. Sterling was willing to be patient. Plus, he had just witnessed Harper and Chase mocking me, so he felt defensive on my behalf. He patted my hand. "Ethan, I don't care who your boss is. I only care who you are. This $100 million investment is entirely for your sake." Hearing $100 million, both Harper and Chase stood agape. Especially Harper. She looked at me in disbelief, losing her composure as she grabbed my sleeve. "Ethan, $100 million. You're really giving it to Faye." She couldn't finish the sentence, because I just glanced at her. That look was full of indifference and disgust. How could it be? She never dreamed that one day she would see the word disgust in my eyes. While they were stunned, I took Mr. Sterling to Faye's car, and we went to a private room in an elegant restaurant. Even if Mr. Sterling liked street food, I didn't dare let him stay out in the open. That woman Harper wouldn't stop until she got what she wanted. She would definitely keep harassing us. During the negotiation, Faye and I were in perfect sync. We charmed Mr. Sterling until he was laughing heartily, and soon the deal was signed. 2 hours later, the partnership was secured. I returned after seeing Mr. Sterling off, only to find Faye cornered at the entrance of the private room. Harper was angrily grabbing Faye, refusing to let go. "Where is Ethan? Where did you hide him?" Chase was looking around anxiously. "Where's Mr. Sterling?" Seeing this, I rushed up to stop it without hesitation. I pulled Harper away and shielded Faye behind me. Harper rubbed her wrist, looking at me with aggrieved eyes. "Ethan, why you so much force? You hurt my wrist." Faye looked at Harper's soft, clinging act with amusement. To the outside world, Harper's persona was the icy, career-focused flower. Chase was frantic. "Ethan, you can't help outsiders. You just handed a $100 million deal to Faye. Isn't that too much?" Faye blinked innocently. "Ethan is my vice president. Isn't it normal for him to secure investments for me? Why are you two so excited?" Harper was furious. Shut up. Ethan is my vice president. Since when did he become yours? He's just spiting me. Taking a deep breath, Harper spoke to me gently. Ethan, I won't blame you for today. As long as you can convince Mr. Sterling to invest in our company, I could be generous and not report your behavior. I couldn't help but laugh sarcastically. Harper, I quit a long time ago. What right do you have to report me? Harper looked at me in surprise. Faye suddenly felt mischievous. She leaned her head on my shoulder and said deliberately, Harper, Ethan is so handsome and so capable. Thank you for the favor of firing him. Once he's officially on board, I'll send you an email of gratitude. Harper clenched her fists, unaware that her nails were digging deep into her palms. She gritted her teeth. Faye, get your head off Ethan's shoulder. Don't you know he's a married man? Then she looked at me resentfully. Ethan, do you have any self-awareness as a married man? How can you get so close to another woman? Even now, she didn't dare reveal that she was married to me. I laughed, pointing at her and Chase. Are you talking about yourself? Harper's face went pale. Chase still tried to talk tough. Ethan, don't change the subject. I see you and Faye are so close. There must be something going on. Lately, Vance Corp has been threatening to overtake our company. Did you leak company secrets? His eyes were full of jealousy and malice. Clearly, he thought I got lucky getting into Faye's company and wanted to pin a crime on me. I kept my face impassive. Chase, instead of throwing mud at me here, you should hurry up and grab a ticket to Alaska. Otherwise, if the board sees you still bouncing around the headquarters. Before I finished, Chase realized the danger. He quickly turned to Harper for help. Harper, what do I do? Harper snapped back to reality and said seriously, don't worry. I won't let anything happen to you. There's always someone willing to take your place. She gave me a bizarre, vicious glare. As for a certain disloyal traitor, I won't let him have it easy. I just sneered. Harper, making my life hard? I'm afraid you'll be the one suffering first. Harper frowned deeply. What do you mean? Cursing me? I control a listed company with thousands of employees. Am I worse off than a wage slave like you? You think going to Vance Corp will be good for you? Faye just wants to use you to take me down. She's selfish. She'll kick you to the curb soon enough. When you come crying back to beg me, I won't agree. She still hadn't discovered the severe problem with the company's cash flow. It seemed she relied on me so much that she had completely forgotten everything I taught her. Faye's eyes widened instantly, and she pointed at Harper, yelling, What nonsense are you spouting? You're describing yourself. You used Ethan for 7 years, and for a little assistant, you sent your VP to Alaska. It's laughable. Chase, having received Harper's assurance, looked smug. All right, Ethan, stop being stubborn. I know you're jealous that Harper treats me well. As long as you apologize sincerely to Harper, I suppose I could persuade her to forgive you and hire you back. I didn't want to waste any more breath on them. I took Faye's hand and prepared to leave. They thought my silence meant guilt and looked triumphant. Suddenly, Harper's phone rang. It was her assistant. Harper answered carelessly, but as she listened to the voice on the other end, her nonchalant expression solidified, then shattered. Bad news, Ms. Lane. It's a disaster. The company accounts have been frozen. No funds can move. Several suppliers are at the office demanding answers. They say if we don't pay the balance, they'll sue us for breach of contract. Harper panicked, eyes filled with disbelief. She lost her voice shouting, What are you talking about? How could there be a problem with the cash flow? Tell those suppliers I'm coming back immediately. We can discuss the payment schedule. Chase heard everything clearly from the side and shook Harper anxiously. Harper, what's happening? Harper was clueless and distressed. How should I know? Ethan usually handles company matters. There's never been a mess before. How could it all go wrong in one day? Her voice stopped abruptly. She stared straight at my back. The next second, she stomped over furiously and forcibly grabbed my hand. Ethan, what did you do? How could the capital chain suddenly break? You go back right now and fix everything. I ran out of patience and threw her hand off. Harper, are you done? The company's business has nothing to do with me. I quit. Stop acting like a giant infant. Looking for me whenever there's a problem. Now you're the CEO, and Chase is the VP. You two handle it. What does it have to do with me? Go ask your precious Chase how big of a hole he punched in the finances. I'm done suffering in silence to clean up your messes. I don't want this rotten company, and I don't want you. Let's divorce. Seriously, we're going to the courthouse right now. I was always emotionally stable. This was the first time I yelled at her. Seeing me twist her arm back, she panicked. She tried to pull away, demanding I let go. Her voice even carried a sob. Ethan, what are you saying? I'm not your wife. What divorce? I froze, then gave a self-deprecating laugh. Harper kept looking at Faye, signaling me with her eyes. Turns out, She was that afraid of people knowing we were married. To her, I was that shameful. But when Faye said she was interested in Chase earlier, Harper hadn't denied it. A wave of extreme exhaustion washed over me. I let go of Harper. Chase quickly pulled her away. She didn't dare look me in the eye and fled the restaurant in a panic. Left behind, Faye watched the show and patted my shoulder sympathetically. Aren't you 10 times better looking than that Chase guy? Did a goose peck out Harper's eyes? Why? Hearing her complain about Chase, I couldn't help but laugh. You don't even know him. Why do you hate him so much? Faye answered without hesitation. I hate anything Harper likes. None of it is good, except you. She said the last 2 words very quietly, lost in the wind. I didn't hear clearly, so I just smiled. All right, boss. Hurry up and process my onboarding. I just closed a huge deal for you. Don't skimp on my commission. Faye blushed and nodded, and we returned to Vance Corp together. On the other side, Harper and Chase rushed back to their office. The scene before them chilled their blood. Several suppliers were blocking the door, refusing to leave. The chairman, who had come for an inspection, was trying to persuade them earnestly. Seeing Harper arrive, the chairman's brow furrowed, his voice low and questioning. You, the CEO, weren't in your office? Where were you? I walked in to find this place in chaos. What is going on? Where is Ethan? Why isn't he here? He's never been this irresponsible. When he saw Chase beside Harper, his eyes widened in shock, his finger trembling as he pointed. Why are you still here? Didn't I tell you to go to Alaska? Chase retreated behind Harper. Harper couldn't come up with a reason, so she braced herself. Chairman, this is all Ethan's fault. He quit. Quit. The chairman turned pale. Chase seized the opportunity to throw dirt on me. Yes, Chairman. He colluded with the CEO of Vance Corp and has already jumped ship to them. He probably stole a lot of company secrets, causing this crisis. You must blacklist him from the industry. Better yet, get lawyers to sue him and make him pay for the losses. Harper scolded him in a low voice for some reason. Don't fearmonger. It's not that serious. But unexpectedly, the chairman's face grew darker. He pulled out his phone and called his assistant. Notify the shareholders to withdraw all capital. Harper, that useless idiot, actually drove Ethan away. Without Ethan, this company can't run. Tell everyone to cut their losses. Hanging up, the chairman started walking out without a word, clearly wanting to wash his hands of the mess. Harper looked terrified. She knew better than anyone that if the shareholders lost trust, the company would collapse. She rushed to block the chairman. Chairman Zhang, why so pessimistic? It's a huge company. Can't it make money without Ethan? I'm a CEO you appointed, and there's so much talent here. Please, trust the company one more time. The chairman just smiled mockingly. We invested because of Ethan. If he hadn't begged us to let you be CEO, do you think we would have chosen you? Look at yourself. Do you know how you got that seat? Ethan is a man of principle. If he quit, his mind is made up. Now, unless you call him back to take charge, we are all pulling out. With that, he stormed off. Harper stood there, petrified. Since the company got on track, I couldn't bear to see her running sales, afraid she'd suffer in the wind and rain. So I let her be the CEO, only needing to give orders. I never expected my care would become her entitlement. She thought the company's growth was due to her brilliant command, her own ability. It got to the point where she hired Chase, thinking her judgment was infallible, until the chairman's words finally shattered the throne she had built for herself in her mind. The suppliers didn't give her time to react. They rushed over. Ms. Lang, when do we get our money? If you don't pay today, my employees won't be able to eat. Harper felt wronged. When the company had financial trouble before, Ethan asked you twice, and you agreed to delay payment. Why the rush this time? A supplier sneered. You aren't Ethan. Why should I listen to you? Ethan is a good man. If he says funds will be released in a few days, it happens. You have no credibility. Exactly. Last time you brought that pretty boy to dinner, you wouldn't even drink with us, just peeling shrimp for him. Only Ethan gave us respect. Since you don't give us face, why should we give you any? If you don't pay today, expect a court summons. So, from start to finish, everyone was here for Ethan. And what had she done? Chase still didn't grasp the gravity of the situation. Instead, he stepped forward arrogantly. You're just small suppliers. We're a listed company. How can we not afford to pay? I advise you to leave, or we won't pay you even if we have the money. He whispered to Harper. I think Chairman Zhang is just scaring you. We're shareholders. We can just refinance and list again. I believe in your ability. Seeing his naive face, Harper finally realized how ridiculous she had been. Had she been drugged? How could she have thought Chase was talent? Without a word, she humbled herself and apologized to the suppliers. But the suppliers were enraged by Chase and refused to forgive her. Helpless, Harper closed her eyes and played her last card. I am Ethan's wife. We've been married for 7 years. Won't you give me even that much trust? Surprisingly, the crowd actually calmed down. They had eyes. They had seen my hidden affection and warned me countless times that unrequited love had no good ending. They never expected Harper and I were actually married. Even the employees eating popcorn at their desks looked stunned. Someone shouted skeptically, "Why should I believe you?" Gritting her teeth, Harper dialed my number. The call connected quickly. She rushed to speak. "Husband, please talk to the suppliers." On the other end, my voice was cold. "Ms. Lane, what husband? Don't talk nonsense." Instantly, the crowd's gaze turned vicious. Harper trembled all over. "Ethan, you swore you'd treat me well forever. You said you'd be my knight. Do you have a heart to be this cruel to me?" Unexpectedly, there was silence for a second. Then I whispered, "I'm coming." Half an hour later, I arrived at the company. After a few words to persuade the rowdy suppliers to leave, Harper looked at me with adoration. She threw herself into my arms like a little girl. "Husband, I knew you were the best. I know I was wrong. If you don't like Chase, I can fire him right now. Just come with me to explain things to the chairman." Chase looked at me with jealousy, practically grinding his teeth. He walked up to Harper, about to pull her sleeve, but Harper dodged him like he was the plague. "Chase Miller, I protected you before because you were my junior. I didn't expect you to break my husband's heart. In that case, I can't keep you. Go process your resignation immediately." Her attempt to wash her hands of him broke Chase. "Harper, what did you say before? You said Ethan was old and ugly, that you liked me, that you only thought he was a useful tool." Slap. Harper slapped him hard across the face, eyes cold. "Who allowed you to talk about Ethan like that? Spouting nonsense. Get out now." Seeing Harper flip-flop faster than turning a page, all the employees looked terrified. Remembering how they had helped Chase ostracize me, they lowered their heads, afraid to look at me. I spoke calmly. "Harper, you don't need to pledge loyalty to me. I can't help you this one time, on one condition." Harper looked at me intently. I said seriously, "That promise about being your knight forever? I'm taking it back. From now on, we're done. Permanently." With that, I turned and walked away. No matter how she screamed and begged behind me, I never looked back. 3 months later, my divorce from Harper was finalized. Because of her infidelity during the marriage, she left with nothing. By then, Harper's company had gone bankrupt. Her own business skills were lacking, so she ended up taking menial jobs, never returning to her life of luxury. Without Harper's financial support, Chase, having developed a habit of spending money like water, fell into gambling addiction and was eventually beaten to death by loan sharks. Meanwhile, I shined at Vance Corp, quickly taking the company to new heights. I helped Faye win the battle against her father's illegitimate children, securing a massive inheritance. Without a second thought, she transferred $1 billion to me. Then, holding a wedding ring designed by a world-renowned master, she proposed. For a time, we became the talk of the town. Everyone laughed at Harper for her stupidity, forcing out her own husband, only to be outshined by her nemesis, making herself look like a total clown. On our wedding day, as Faye and I exchanged rings, I saw a janitor offstage who looked remarkably like Harper cover her face and run away. But that had nothing to do with me anymore. My future was endlessly bright. Story complete.